Hey everybody, Chris here. On this Friday morning, we're having a complete crypto breakdown with Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and just about every crypto crashing down, lower prices. We're going to talk about that in this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when videos come out, as well as when I do live streams. And on the Thursday afternoon live stream, we did see the trend continuing down lower, all of the bear market indicators pretty much hitting, and confirmation, well, was going to be 2 weeks away, but it's happening now. We also were zoomed out on the bigger picture during the live stream, and we were looking at the longer term trend of what was happening. This drop here is exceptional. And what I mean by that is unlike anything we've really seen. And in this video, I'm going to show you some of the data and some of the charts behind that. So let's get into it. Let me show you what I'm looking at. And we start here looking at the current Dogecoin chart at 1365. That's right, 13s. Dogecoin is in the 13s. And we had Bitcoin come down below 82K. It came all the way down to 81.5 here on the dip earlier this morning. And there's no reason to think this can't drop lower. We could actually see Dogecoin falling down to 13 cents and maybe even the 12s with this relentless selling that's going on. But is it really all selling, right? And we were talking about that again in the live stream yesterday. It was just like you zoom out on Bitcoin and you just see this. You see these continual drops. It just keeps going lower, 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 lower. And what is that doing? Of course, we're going to look at the heat map and we're going to look at all the leverage that's been taken out here. That is what is going on, my friends, is just continual, just pummeling of Bitcoin along with ETH as well. ETH has been following the same trend, just going lower and lower with all of the large leverage trades that we've been seeing. That is the story. Crypto bubbles are all in the red. I mean, you look at Doge down 13% here, and you're like, well, except the bubble's kind of small, isn't it? That's because there's so many more down, so much more. I mean, poor Pengu, right? Almost 18% now. All of these are just everything down. This is a crash kind of day here on a Friday. Fear and greed, extreme fear. Now, typically you would see extreme fear like once, right? It would dip down to extreme fear, capitulation, and then there's buying coming in and the index, the sentiment starts moving up. Well, no, now extreme fear, yesterday extreme fear, last week extreme fear, last month extreme fear. This is what we're living with right now. That's pretty tough. So let's get into it, right? Well, when Colin made this post, Bitcoin was down 32%, right? And he was saying, well, the last pullback we had, again, this was the tariffs, right? We talked about this yesterday as well. From January at the high before the inauguration down to the April low was 31.8%. We thought that was bad. This is 32.3, but well, no, now it's 35.3 because Bitcoin continued dropping lower from when he made that screen grab. So Bitcoin has seen this drop now over 35% from the high we just had on October 6th. It feels much worse because it happened much faster. This pullback was much faster than the 3-month drop we had with the tariff fears. But there was no news behind this, right? This was just overbought, selling, profit taking, and then the market makers took over and dropped it. So what's going on? Well, we got the 50-week moving average. The last time, right, this pullback happened in April, it bounced off the 50-week moving average. There were a couple wicks below, but it bounced off. This time, complete breakdown below the 50-week moving average. For those TA guys out there, that's what it was. So we had that, right? Bitcoin sliced through the 50-week moving average and is now way below it. This shows how the trend lost a ton of momentum. So we're not the same as what happened back here. This is worse. Bitcoin exchange liquidation heat map. We looked at this yesterday, and well, I mean, the price was up lower, and we were saying, there's still a few more like long leverage liquidity to grab. So actually said I was fearful that it would probably grab that before it moved higher, and that's certainly what it did. Look at, there's hardly anything left down here now. There's hardly anything left. They're going to get all the scraps they can, though. Going to go to 82, 81, 80, right? Well, from the time this was, we already went through the 82, 83s and 82s. Psychedelic says, I have never seen this. The liquidation heat map has never been this skewed. They have quite literally destroyed 99% of investors that were long in any way, shape, or form. Look at that. This is a wipeout to a level that has never been witnessed before. And there it is. All of the liquidations for the long are gone. But look at all the shorts up here. When is this price going to move back up and start taking out the shorts? The shorts are making a lot of money right now. But that is what we have. There's 30 times more the amount of shorts than longs right now. Holy effing shit. This is insane, right? This is just, I mean, this is what we're living. This is an extraordinary event that's going on. Ash says, look, cartels have liquidated almost every Bitcoin long. You know what the cartels are, right? The exchanges, the market makers, right? The ones that actually move the market, taking out all of just pummeling all the long leverage all the way down. And they're going to get every little scrap down to 80K. There's literally no liquidity cluster below at this moment. From a volume and liquidation perspective, this looks like a final capitulation, but yet there's some little scraps down here. On the daily chart, lowest RSI in 2.5 years, the lowest MACD ever. Bitcoin has never had a MACD as low as this, ever in Bitcoin's history. And the RSI, well, since the last bear market. And now we're there. The indicators are there. Glassnode, right? They look at all of the data. Bitcoin realized losses have surged to levels last seen during the FTX collapse. So that goes 3 years ago. With short-term holders driving the bulk of the capitulation, the scale and speed of these losses reflect a meaningful washout of marginal demand as recent buyers unwind into the drawdown. Look at the big spike right there. Look at that huge spike right there. The realized losses. That means that everyone who was buying Bitcoin from 90K up, like all of that buying that was happening, right? Because Bitcoin was going to 200K, 300, 500, a million, right? All of those crazy predictions. Nope, those are now all in losses. And that's just Bitcoin, of course. We know what it's happening with alts too. Crypto Rover reminds us, right? Because we were all talking about the bull market, right? And all the peak indicators and all the signs and everything. And he says, look, 0 out of the 30 bull market peak indicators have hit, right? The bull market never really was a complete, fully filled bull market because all of the indicators that we always look at, like the pi cycle top indicator and the rainbow charts and all of that we've been showing for 3 years, none of those hit that said we were anywhere near the end of a bull market. This cycle was different, indeed. Colin comes back and says, look, few, if any, Bitcoin bull run cycle top indicators triggered this cycle. It's important to note, however, that several bear market indicators did trigger, right? Bitcoin closed below the 50-week moving average, and of course that was just a week ago, right? So I was like, okay, we went below it. Is it confirmed? Are we going to have a relief rally back up above like we saw again back in 2021 and then fall lower? No, we just kept falling this time. The death cross, right? We just had the death cross last week, right? Normally marks bottoms. It didn't mark a bottom this time. This is a bear market behavior. It did the same thing, not bouncing in January 2022 when that bear market was just getting going. So from a timing perspective, it's been basically the same cycle length. It wasn't 4 years, it was 3 years, 11 months, right? We talked about that the other day. Also in Q4, and it's been with every cycle this far. This cycle has been unusual for sure. We never got a euphoric blow off top or any of the traditional bull topping signals, but we did get some bear market signals, but those just happened. They just happened. So it's looking so far like I got it wrong when I thought the most likely outcome would be a top in December, January. And I mean, that's kind of pretty much what everyone is saying, except like the James Wynn characters and others. Well, I told you. This is not the time to be hearing that kind of stuff, right? We're all in this together. And this is not good. Kook says, look, I'm going to be buying some Bitcoin today. 82K is a great level. In my opinion, we won't go below last cycle's high of 69K. Start buying here, buy all the way down. Also DCAing hype. Those are the only assets I'm interested in. Don't go too hard too soon. Remember, this too shall pass. I don't know many people that are buying right now. I really don't. This could extend on for some time. Are we going to get this immediate relief rally? I mean, there are signs. We've seen that kind of thing before. But I don't have confirmation of that either. Tiny Crypto says, look, Bitcoin. Every time Bitcoin touched the monthly middle Bollinger Band after an all-time high, price kept drifting lower. We're touching it again right now. Not every touch reached the lower band, but most did. Trade what the chart shows, not what you hope it will do next. Not saying to short here, it's late. The risk reward isn't attractive. So there's more room on the monthly Bollinger Band to drop lower, like we saw going into 2022, like we saw going into 2018, and likewise back here 2014. 4-year cycles, 2014, 2018, 2022. And here we are. We're not in 2026 yet. It's still 2025, but the indicator is there. Not looking good. For all of you who thought ETFs, right? The institutions are buying, right? Hey, the institutions are. It's not the institutions. The ETFs we have been talking about are paper hands, retail, buying the ETF, and some institutions, right? We saw some pension funds and some other colleges, universities, other companies buying the ETFs because they won't buy the real Bitcoin. Well, they've been selling too. The fear in the market has caused them to sell. Look at that, 355, right? $1 million just from BlackRock, IBIT, yesterday. Total of almost $1 billion. $1 billion of outflows because of the paper hand ETF holders. So that's not going to save us. So what do we do, right, with Dogecoin, right? We talked about these Dogecoin ETFs starting up, right? X money, I think, is still out there. Those are positive things that can happen with Doge. So I'm not selling my Dogecoin that I have left. I'm not selling it. I'm holding through this. But we can meme, right? That's what we do with Dogecoin. Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy only when others are fearful. There's a lot of fear in the market. Do we start getting greedy? I know people have been buying Doge on the dips all the way down, but I'm not convinced yet that this thing has bottomed, that we just had that wick down to like 13.4 here. Now we're at 13.6, so there could be more droppage here that we could see, but not great. And then, of course, no lows, no highs, only Doge, right? Flip it around. Not no highs, no lows. It's no lows, no highs, only Dogecoin. And so what do, right? We got to keep living. We know what's going on. It's what we do. The leverage continues. Now look at this. Look at the heat map, right? $1 billion in Bitcoin alone over the past day. $2 billion for all liquidations. That means Bitcoin was half of all of the liquidations in the last 24 hours. It's been Bitcoin. ETH had 424 million. Doge, not too bad. I mean, 24 million. I mean, $24 million is a lot, but $1 billion just in Bitcoin alone. This is what's going on. We've been talking about it for a few weeks. Also the October 10th flash crash, which kind of kicked off this whole like negative thing, when we had almost $20 billion in liquidation just in that one day. It actually almost happened in like 2 hours because of what happened. This is what's moving the market. It's not tariffs. It's not anything, any news event going on in the world. It is this. This is what is driving the market down, and they're going to continue to do it until they have it all wiped out. That's what I think is happening, and we will continue to look at the heat maps. There'll be new leverage coming in, and we'll be watching for that on the Friday afternoon live stream to see what new, because all these degen traders, right, who lost and got wiped out on all of these leverage trades, they're going to come back in with new ones because they think this thing is going to turn around, and they just keep getting pummeled again and again and again. And we're going to see, as this red line, right, keeps going to the left, 81 to 80, we're going to see new ones pop up down here. And the market makers are going to say, yep, target, going to go get that too. The shorts are just going to have to wait. That's what I think's going on. Let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about this? It's a complete breakdown in the whole crypto market. It's not just Doge. So if you go in the comments and you just say, oh, Doge is dead, it's like, look over it. Just come on. Just look at what's happening to all the cryptos. I mean, it's happening across the entire crypto market here. Doge actually isn't as bad as most of other altcoins. Doge is actually holding up fairly well, even though it's in the 13s. So let me know in the comments below. Give the video a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.